Matter of Thomas Serino and Emily Stevens. I have received, this is a date and time set for a trial. I have received documentation from Ms. Stevens. And I believe I've also received some exhibits from Mr. Serino that look like a lease agreement and some pictures of the apartment. And then from Ms. Stevens, I've received also some pictures of the apartment purporting to show what it was when, or close to when she moved in, the damages and that sort of thing. And then some, looks like some text messages between Mr. Serino and herself, picture of some smoke alarms and damages to the house. All right, how are we to proceed today? Let me start with Mr. Serino. What do you think we need to do today, Mr. Serino?
Your Honor, Mr. Cohen and I are seeking a judgment for $875 to cover the cost of damage as well as missing items, broken mailbox, missing garage overhead door, smoke detectors, and general cleaning for a total of $875 plus costs.
All right, and Ms. Stevens, from your perspective, what are you seeking?
I'm just seeking, I guess, transparency and the condition of all those things. And I want the evidence that I didn't damage or remove doors or take those things to be considered as well, because they're not true.
All right, Mr. Serino, have you looked at her evidence?
I have not seen her evidence, Your Honor. Mr. Cohen is here, and he did go into the house after she moved out, and he did all the repairs himself. And all these things that I've been mentioning are based on a exit damage report, which I typed up based on his report. The exit damage report is everything Mr. Cohen did after she moved out. I have not been in the building since she moved out.
All right, Ms. Stevens, did you send a copy of your documentation to Mr. Serino?
No. I'm not aware. I didn't know I was needed to send him pictures and stuff. I can share my screen.
Well, it's hard to do a trial, and I get it that you guys are not attorneys and don't know how to do these things. So I'm aware of that. It's just hard to do a trial if the parties haven't talked to each other and if they haven't shown each other what the information is that they have, because then everybody's in the dark and nobody knows what the other side thinks that they know, and nobody can say, oh, I see that now, but here's my answer to that, because they don't have time to go research it or look it up or to get the evidence that is out there. So we're left with, I can tell you this, Judge, but I don't have the pictures of it, or I don't have the information of it, or somebody else knows it. So what I have then is lack of information on my side, and I'm supposed to be the one that's making a decision. So the general requirement is that both sides, if you send something to the court, you have to send it to the other side so that they have a chance to review it and can counter it if there's information available. So I'm somewhat reluctant to go forward today when neither side has seen what the other side has by way of information. Because when I first look at it, it looks to me, and again, I'm not trying to decide this ahead of time, but it looks to me like Ms. Stevens has some information that some of the stuff was damaged previously. And maybe I'm wrong, but it at least starts to look that way. And so I want to have Mr. Serino and Mr. Kuhn have an opportunity to look at that ahead of time and say, okay, but here's what is what really happened from our perspective. And I don't know that they'd have a proper chance to do that if I just go ahead today and say, let's just do it and get it done with. So I want to make sure that I'm fair to both sides. And I also want to give Ms. Stevens an opportunity to make sure that she knows exactly what Mr. Kuhn is going to testify to, because I didn't know that he did the work himself. I know that he's done some of that in other cases, but I didn't know that he did it in this case. So I want Ms. Stevens to be aware of what he knows ahead of time as well. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to set, Mr. Kuhn, are you going to be going back down to Florida in the near future?
I live here now.
Your Honor, Miss Stevens has a copy of the exit damage report. She has had it.
I moved out in March 2025, and I did not hear a word about damages or get receipts or a list or anything until October, when I got delivered certified mail. So I did get a list by Mr. Kuhn with a list that some are doubled items. And it says on there that he didn't inspect it before I moved in. So I'm not sure how he decided what was broken by me. But in 7 months after I moved out, I never got this at all.
All right, so Mr. Sereno, I see what you're calling as the exit damage report that's got Mr. Kuhn's name down at the bottom of it, and it says exit damage report at the top, and a total of $875. Was there a initial walkthrough at the beginning of the lease?
Yes, sir. Yes, it was, Your Honor, and I took pictures the day before she moved in on October 31st, and I did
so
provide those pictures.
So where is that document that says you did a walkthrough the day prior to the lease?
There is no document. I looked for it. There wasn't one, Your Honor. I couldn't find one.
But you say that there are pictures?
Yes, I provided those to Miss Good. I emailed them to her. And if you click on the picture and right click on the picture, it'll show you the properties, and it'll show you what date I took those pictures, which is up the day before she moved in. Showing no
Pictures
damage.
that are those the pictures that you included with the lease agreement that I talked about before?
Yeah, yes, Your Honor.
So that's from before, not afterwards.
Before she moved in. Those pictures were taken on October 31st. And she has the exit, she just admitted that she does have the exit damage report.
Well, you guys want to have a hearing today, or do you want to postpone it and talk to each other?
If we postpone it, I have to come back down to Florida, and which I will do.
Well, we can get on Zoom. Mr. Kuhn can get on Zoom, or he can have somebody help him get on Zoom. He's got kids. They know how to do it.
I don't know how to do it at 94. I'm probably not going to learn.
Where's your closest daughter?
Closest daughter is in
4 hours away.
Venice, which is about 200 miles away.
All right. Ms.
Oh,
Stevens, do you want to go today?
I'd just like to make a mention that I've been renting in the Gaylord area. I, of course, lived there. I've been renting up there for 45 years. I had currently 3 places. And every time I have a renter leave, I have an opportunity to look at the house. I didn't in this case. But whenever if they leave me or don't leave me, I put it all back in perfect shape. And if somebody new comes into the house to rent, they have an opportunity to, I'll walk through it with them. And if there's anything that they don't like, I can fix it. I always leave my places clean and safe. I leave them like I'd want them if I was going to move in myself. So when she moved in there, she
Well,
She
let's
smoked-
hang on. You're gonna have a chance to testify, Mr. Kuhn, but let's hang on before we get the cart before the horse. Ms. Stevens, do you want to go have a hearing today?
Would I be allowed to play or show my photos and or share my
Yes.
screen with the videos and stuff? I mean, that's I
Yes.
don't know what else I could get that would change what I have. So
All right. We're on the record on this matter, right? All right. I'm going to have everybody sworn in at the same time and we'll simply go from there. So if you all raise your right hands, please, so I can swear you in. You solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. Ms. Stevens,
I do.
yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Kuhn,
Yes.
Mr. Serino.
Yes, sir.
All right, go ahead and put your hands down then. This is the Mr. Serino's matter. Mr. Serino, are you telling me that Mr. Kuhn did all the work himself, so you really don't need to testify a lot?
No, Your Honor. He was in Florida and he came up in June in preparation to sell the place, and he found it in disrepair, and he did all the work himself.
All right. Is there any other information before I go to Mr. Kuhn that you want me to be aware of, Mr. Serino?
I believe you have all the information I have right now, Your Honor.
All right. And
The
the
pictures you
documents that you sent, me include a one-page lease agreement, which does not have a signature on it. And then actually it's a two-page, then it has an inspection checklist, which is not filled out. Are you
Right.
saying that that's an example of the lease agreement, or is that the actual lease agreement?
The lease agreement is just unsigned, Your Honor. I didn't include the original. I couldn't find the original because I might have sent it to Mr. Kuhn, but that's what the lease agreement looks like. That is the lease agreement. It's on the computer. It's just not signed because it was still on the computer. I printed it off.
All right. And then you're telling me that the 5 pictures that are attached to that were taken in October prior to the entry of the lease term. Is that
Yeah.
correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
And those show the condition of the house at issue just prior to or within days of the move-in by the defendant. Is that correct?
The day before, Your Honor, and when I took the pictures, I didn't notice any discrepancies. I would have noticed something if I was taking pictures.
All right. Ms. Stevens, you are entitled, let me do it this way. Mr. Serino, is there any other information that you want me to be aware of in regard to this case?
No, I think that the exit damage report speaks for itself, Your Honor.
All right, and the exit damage report was submitted along with your original documentation as a part of your complaint. Is that correct?
Not at the same time as the original complaint, Your Honor. I provided the pictures later.
Right, but
Most recently.
the exit damage report itself was part of the complaint.
Yes, Your Honor.
And that documents what Mr. Kuhn did, and I'll talk to him about that, but that documents what Mr. Kuhn did and why he wants his 875 in response. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Ms. Stevens, you have the right to cross-examine Mr. Serino based on his testimony and ask him any questions that you want to ask. You will at a later time have the ability to present your own evidence, but do you have any questions for Mr. Serino at the moment?
Sure. I guess my first question I would like to ask is why or maybe just point out the garbage disposal is on the list of damages 2 times for $200 each. I just want to point out that error.
Well, why don't you ask a question as to why that's so, and then I'll get his response, and then we can go from there.
Okay. So I guess I'd like to ask why that's on there twice.
Mr. Serino, are you aware?
I would have to defer to Mr. Kuhn because he found is that in the exit damage report, Emily?
Yes, it says garbage disposal 200, and then below
Right,
that
right.
it says the kitchen sink incinerator 200.
I didn't, Mr. Coon took care of that.
All right, when we get to Mr. Kuhn, you can ask him that question. Any other questions that you have for Mr. Sereno?
Yeah, I guess I'm curious why I didn't hear about this in March, April, May, June, July, or any time before October. And it took until after the last court session for me to hear about this all.
Primarily because Mr. Coon didn't do the work until he got back into Gaylord in June, and that took him, I don't know how long, a good month to do the work.
Okay. Because it seems like 7 months is a long time for me to be surprised by this. And I was also wondering, I guess that's the only questions I can think of right now. Unless I'm
All right.
allowed to ask more as they come up, I'm not sure.
Yeah, you will be, Mr. Kuhn is going to testify next. And if you have any additional questions, you can ask those of him. And then if you have specific testimony that you want to give, you'll be allowed to testify after that. So, all right, we'll move to Mr. Kuhn. Mr. Kuhn, from your perspective, why don't you tell me what it is that you did and why you believe that you're entitled to $875?
Well, I got a whole list of things that I did. The place was left quite dirty for one thing. We had to do a lot of cleaning. My wife was with me. The oven had never been cleaned. It took 3 hours and 2 cans of product to clean the oven. The stove was a glass top stove. It was new when I put it in there. And something had been dropped on it along the edges. And it was all chipped up. I had to get some touch-up paint, clean that up. It looked better, but it wasn't brand new anymore. The garbage disposal was unplugged, and I didn't know why until I plugged it back in, and then I realized it was broken. So I unplugged it. I got a plumber over there, and he replaced it. In fact, he replaced it with a new one that somebody else had bought and gave me a good price on it. I just passed the price on to Ms. Stevens. And we repainted it all the way through. The smoke detectors in 4 rooms were all missing. Had to buy them. The closet doors were on 2-bedroom doors, and the laundry area in the kitchen, they were all down in the basement. And it looked like they'd been handled kind of rough. Somebody had opened up a can of blue paint in the basement, and apparently they had a cat, which the contract said no animals. The cat got into the paint, and there was blue paw prints all over the floor. I had to repaint the floor with 2 coats of paint. A lot of things that I did that I haven't put on the list. It was just went on, and we finally got everything clean and got the replaced all of the things that were broken. I had a Lazy Susan in the kitchen. It was in perfect shape because it was a new cabinet when I put it in there. The Lazy Susan was missing. The cabinet outside is there, but the shelving inside of it was all gone out in the garage. And how that got out of there, I have no idea because I couldn't figure out a way to get it back in there. The garage from the time that she lived there, coming in and out of the garage would mud on the car, which we all get mud up there. The floor was so thick that I scraped it, and then I power washed it myself. And then the walls in there were damaged to the point where I painted it all by myself, furnished the paint and painted it, because when I turned my house over, I wanted it to look nice. And there was a back door missing. It was busted. It was standing in the garage, and it was broken, so I had to replace that. And I took probably 3 or 4 loads of just junk that was left in the house to the landfill. It didn't cost anything, but it takes a lot of time to do those things. So she didn't leave the house in very good shape for somebody that, when she went in there 2 years before that, or however long it was, she was excited about getting in there. I think she was probably, I don't know, trying to get away from a situation at home. But every time that she was late on payments, we had a clause in the agreement that it was $25 a day up to a maximum of $75. I told Tom, I said, don't ever charge her late payments. I'm tried to be a decent landlord. And if there was anything broken when she moved in, all she had to do was mention it and it would have been fixed. It's kind of disgusting when you furnish a place for somebody that appreciates a good place at a reasonable price. Now, it was under $1,000 a month, and it was a 4-bedroom house. And it just makes me feel bad that I furnished something that well and somebody doesn't take advantage of it. The towel bar in the bathroom was missing. Just things like that really are irritating when you know you do the best you can to make a place look nice. Anyway, that's what I got to say about that.
All right, thank you, Mr. Kuhn. Ms. Stevens, do you have any questions for Mr. Kuhn?
Not really questions, just more kind of just,
You'll
I guess
be able
I'm
to
curious how, I'm sorry.
You'll be able to testify to things that you disagree with in his exit damage report if you want to do that. But the question, I have to go back and forth and give each party an opportunity to ask follow-up questions. So that's what we're doing at this point. Any questions that
Okay.
you have?
I guess the only one that I really had that was, I'm just curious how Mr. Kuhn determined that I did that stuff to the house, taking doors off hinges and damaging things if he never did the entry examination. He never inspected it when I moved in. I'm not sure how would he not know that that wasn't already like that when I saw the house?
Mr. Kuhn, did you understand that question?
Not thoroughly, no, I didn't.
She wanted to know.
She wanted to know, yeah, let me ask it for her. She wanted to know how you knew that she did the damage when you weren't a part of the review of the house when she first came in.
Well, because I know how I left the house. I've already stated that I put these houses back in perfect shape. And if there's anything that they need, it would be fixed or taken care of right away. I try to rent to decent people. I'm not a slumlord. And I rent to good people, and I have good people.
All right, thank you. Ms. Stevens, any other questions that you have?
No.
All right. Mr. Kuhn, let me ask you a question about the exit damage report. Ms. Stevens asked earlier to Mr. Serino about the garbage disposal. And then the kitchen incinerator, I think is how it's pronounced, is what you're saying. It says garbage disposal replaced $200 up on the top of the report or near the top of the report. Then down about 2/3 of the way, it says kitchen dash incinerator or incinerator is broken, replaced $200. Is that the same
That's
thing
the
that you're
same
talking
thing.
about? So it's on there twice?
Incinerator is a brand name, and that's, I used that, but it was really, it's a garbage disposal.
So it looks like in your total down at the bottom where you came up with the 875, you've got $200 down there listed twice. Should I take out one of those $200 amounts?
2, 3, 4. Your Honor, we're adding it up right now. Just a second. You got 2, 4.
Here, you add this up. I got a question for Ms. Stevens.
Okay, hold on.
Is it my turn to ask a question?
Not yet. It
Okay.
will be, but not yet.
All right.
Oh, it's on the bottom. Yes, yes, sir. I added
Yeah,
it.
down near the bottom, it
Okay,
goes
yeah,
200,
you-
300, 20, 80, 200 again, 60 and 15, which appear to be following the list from the top to the bottom
Right,
of the amounts that
exactly.
he did. So
But
I would take out one of those $200.
I didn't realize the incinerator was the same thing as the garbage disposal. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Okay, it's the
Yeah.
same thing, Your Honor. So,
All right,
yeah,
so
we
we'll
can,
use-
we can take out 200.
All right, so we're down to 675 as the requested amount. All right,
Yes, yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Kuhn, have you seen the pictures that Ms. Stevens submit? Well, I think the answer to that is no, because you already told me. You've not seen the pictures that Ms. Stevens submitted to the court yet, right? Is that
No.
correct?
That's
All
correct.
right. Let me kind of describe it to you. And again, this is part of the reason why I don't like doing it this way, but let me do it too. There's a picture of appears to be a closet where it said in one of the rooms. And again, I don't know where it is, but it appears to be that there's no doors, no foldable doors on the closet. Is that what the closet came with in one of the, looks like one of the bedrooms?
All 2 bedrooms and the, excuse me, the laundry room. Yes, I had
Right.
bifold doors and they've all worked well. And when I got in
Right,
there after she moved out, they were in the basement.
All right, and she has a picture of that, which says at the bottom of it, November the 11th of 2021. And that was about the time that she moved in, if I remember correctly. Mr. Serino was saying October, the end of October was when he did his walkthrough and took your pictures. And then she's got a picture that shows no doors on it about 10 days later, 11 days later. So let me see if there's other pictures of a similar kind of thing.
She took them off. They were in there.
All right, so your information and your belief is that the doors were on there
I
when
know
you
they were.
last. All right. One of the other things that are listed on your exit damage report include a dryer vent hose. It says that dryer vent hose was trashed, extra cleaning because vent hose was not usable, 1 hour, $20. Do you know when that vent hose was last replaced?
It was brand new when she moved in there.
All right, she
It
has,
looked like it had been stepped on and it was pulled out of it wasn't hooked up anymore. And when she was using the dryer, apparently all the dust from the dryer accumulated in that room. Because we had
all
a
right,
lot
she
of,
has, All right, I apologize for talking over you, but she has a picture again dated November the 11th of 2021, showing the dryer vent hose with what appears to be a kind of a step-on mark on it. And then the end of it, where it would attach to the dryer itself, that appears to be broken as well. So it's
That's
just the hose
exactly what
sticking
I
out.
saw.
Well, that she's saying she took a picture of that exact same way, November the 11th of 2021.
It's a lie, a bold-faced lie. I don't know
Well,
how
what
she
do I
gets
do?
away with lying like that.
Well, Mr. Kuhn, what do I do with a picture that appears to show that? There's also in here looks like a text message with Tom Serino. It says TS and Tom, dated April the 14th of 2022. The question is, did they say anything about coming back to hook up the dryer? The answer is yes, your hose is no good. This is in April of 22. Next question, okay, so I need to buy a new hose? Yes, but I can pick it up for you. Next question, did they say when they can come back to do that once I buy one? The answer is they won't do that. So it appears in April of 22, Mr. Serino, at least I'm assuming it's Mr. Serino, knew about the hose in the dryer being bad. Do you have any information as to that, Mr. Kuhn?
No.
All right, Ms. Stevens, do you have any other questions for Mr. Kuhn?
No, not at this point.
All right. Next, what I'm going to do then is I'm going to give Ms. Stevens a chance to tell me what it is that she wants me to know. And then Mr. Kuhn and Mr. Serino, then you'll be able to ask your questions that you have of her. So Ms. Stevens, why don't you tell me what it is that you want me to know?
Sure. Thank you, Your Honor. So a couple of things. I just want to touch on each point in the letter that I got. And then if I have your permission, I can play or show some pictures or videos. I shortened
Certainly.
them into small clips.
Yep.
So just on each item in the damage report, I just wanted to address each one individually. As you'll see in the video and the pictures, the closet doors on the bedrooms and the washer and dryer were never on. I don't even know how to take doors off, let alone tote them down the stairs and everything. They were never on, and the videos and pictures show that. I never touched those. I didn't have the tools or know how to do that. The damage on the stove, there was a large dent on top of the stove that was there again in November 2021. I did sign the lease. I believe it was right around Halloween, but I did not actually move into the home until after the holidays because my husband and I were getting divorced and we didn't want to tell the kids until after Christmas. So I was renting it, but I was not fully moved in yet. And the video will show the house was completely empty. There's nothing in there. I didn't have tools or anything to do this. And the damage on the stove is shown in that video when I was doing a walkthrough. His Honor already talked about the hose. You can see that completely damaged in my walkthrough video in early November. One of the other points on the damage is about ceiling damage that was done by buildup of ice and snow. We actually went to court over this in August, and it was found in my favor by the court. And this was a result of just ice damage and water damage, basically caving in the ceiling area of the back sunroom.
And there's no question about that in this case.
Okay, thank you. I did take off, there was a small little towel rack on the back behind the toilet. I did remove that and I put that inside the bathroom closet. It was on the shelf. It was 2 screws. I did that so I could put a little shelf on the back of the toilet, but I didn't damage the wall doing that. I didn't put it back on because I moved out pretty abruptly due to the ceiling damage. I wanted to talk about the fire alarms. You'll also see a picture of a spot in my walkthrough video where you can see where a fire alarm is supposed to be. These were fire alarms that are actually wired into the ceiling or the wall. They have wired things sticking out. None of them were in place in the house, so I actually supplied all the fire alarms, just battery operated ones, and hung them around and put them on high places in the house. And I did take those with me when I left because I purchased them. I also bought a carbon monoxide detector. On this list, there's also notice of, oh, sorry, thought they were trying to talk. There's also mention about the garage. I can't speak to the garage floor getting dirty. It probably was filthy because it's a garage. But I did want to make mention that I never received the opener. That was mentioned in here as an accusation as well. The garage door is only openable. You have to go through the side door, turn on the light fixture, and then you can open with a button. And then you do that the same way and then turn the light off. But I never received a fob or anything for that. There's also a picture of one of the kitchen cupboards, actually, where I think they're talking about where this Lazy Susan was. There was never a Lazy Susan in there. You can see it. It's got shelves, and it was filled up with food early on. I never saw that. There's pictures in my videos and sorry, other pictures of I believe the back. They're calling it a storm door, I believe. That was the same door. I have video or picture of that right when I moved in, and that was the same door all the way up until I moved out. That was replaced after I moved out. But it was always the same door. I never took anything off or damaged it. The door was very bad condition from the start. So I did just want to mention all of that. And if it's okay, I just have a couple clips I can play of my initial walkthrough of the home. I think that, yes, the walk out information is important, but I also think that there's a lot to learn from the walk through when I first moved in, because that was actually the condition of the home when I started. So if I
Tell
have
me
your
when-
permission.
Yeah, you will in just a second. Just tell me a little bit more about this video that we're going to see. When was it done? Who made the video? And does it show exactly what you saw at the time that you moved into the place?
Yeah. So, and this isn't the full video I took, I couldn't send it on to myself on email. It was too long. So I took out clips of the parts that I wanted to show you. This is actually me just talking to myself. I was doing a little house tour for friends and family so they could see the house that I was moving into. So I videoed each of the rooms, and it's just me kind of talking to myself, telling them what the house is like and what I kind of plan to do on each room.
All right, go ahead and show your clips.
Okay. Okay. Can you see that okay?
I can see it. Mr. Kuhn and Mr. Sereno, can you see what she's got on the screen now?
Yes, we can see it, Your Honor.
Okay.
All right, go ahead, Ms.
All right.
Stevens.
This is actually the entryway to the home, and you'll see when I go into the first bedroom on the left, there are no doors on the closet. There's the living room. And the first little office area. The closet in the basement, which I won't go down. So just to go back to that, if it was unclear. First little office area. Here's the first closet. It had no doors on it. That was dated the same as the screenshots where I included the timestamp that the video was taken. So that was the first bedroom.
So that's November the 11th, you believe?
Yes.
All right, go ahead.
Here is the back. Here is the back closet or the back porch area. So I walked through one of the rooms. There was like a front living room area, and then I walked through a second room, and then this is the back area where the sunroom area was, and you can see the original door. This is the back screened-in porch area.
be freaking cold. It's my favorite spot. Hold on, I'm gonna make another video.
So this is the door, and I do have screenshots of this exact shot where you can see the door was the same from when I moved in until I moved out. I never removed it.
Let's see, anything wrong.
I don't know what she's trying to. Hmm.
Here's the third one. This one captures, and again, I'll also show the stills of these videos too. It's just to bring attention of what was going on in the home at the time. It was completely empty, like I said. And I believe this one's going to show the damaged dryer hose and the front of the stove.
And then here's this one.
So here's the dryer hose, which I will be able to zoom in on the damage of that here in a moment. There is the dryer hose, also no doors on the dryer washer area.
The washer and dryer can go.
And you can see a little bit better there. It's completely shredded and ruined down at the bottom. And then I swing this way and you can see the stove. I will show a still of this. You'll notice my Starbucks cup. I guess that'll be reference. I did get a frame. You can see the damage on the stove there. There's that. Here is the master bedroom area. Again, the thing here is that there are no closet doors. And then I believe this was just, I can't remember. This
Maybe
is,
this will be like an office heat. But also this makes me a little nervous with the kids. It's like, oh God.
I don't remember what was in that one. That might have just been an extra. But I can also show stills of those videos if you would like. So you can see more detailed damage of each one.
Yeah, why don't you do that? Because you did include the stills in the pictures you sent to the court, but Mr. Kuhn and Mr. Sereno have not seen those yet. So I think it would be appropriate to show the close-ups of some of those other things.
Sure. So this is one piece here. Maybe that's what that last video was, maybe moving, but that was one of the fixtures in the ceiling that showed how to put the fire alarms in. There was a wire connection that came down and put it in. They were not in the house when I was doing the walkthrough. They were all missing. So I did go to the store and buy several with carbon monoxide here, and they were, battery. They didn't hook into the wall or anything. They were I just put them up on high places. Like I said, I have kids, so I made sure to do this right away.
If you've got pictures of those things, why don't you go ahead and put them on the screen for me, please?
Oh, yep. Oh, sorry. I thought I was sharing my screen and I wasn't. My bad. Here you go. I will back up. Here's the first one. That must be from that upstairs.
All right, so that's the wiring that you were referring to for the alarm systems?
Yes, and they kind of were meant to, there were spaces to attach certain fire alarms. I didn't know anything about that. I'm not handy. I don't know how to do repairs and whatnot. I've never lived on my own before this. So I just bought these here, pictured. These ones were just battery, throw up somewhere high. And then on the bottom left, that's the carbon monoxide or carbon dioxide or monoxide detector that I also bought. Here is a clip from that video I sent with the timestamp and printed at the bottom. This is November 11th, 2021. I was doing my walkthrough. This is a shot from that video just showing the door, that is the same door as when I moved in. This is the door when I moved out with the damage that was happening. Same door as that other video. I never removed it, took anything. Again, I don't even know how to do that, or do I have tools to do those things? But that's just comparing the door. My daughter likes to organize snacks and stuff. We called this corner cupboard our pantry. This is the only cupboard I can think of in the home that would have been referred to as a lazy Susan. So this picture is from my daughter at some point, showing me how she organized it. This is how it looked the entire time I lived there. There's no tracks for a lazy Susan. There's no,
No, there was nothing in there it was new.
All right, go ahead, Ms.
thank
Stevens.
you. Here's a still of that dryer hose from, again, November 11th, 2021. This is when I took it. Zooming in a little bit, you can see it is shredded at the bottom. I took a closer picture here. That is what it looked like closer. Again, this is before I even had a washer and dryer. I believe that the hose was actually never replaced. I believe there was just an end extension piece that was added onto the end, to the best of my knowledge. Here again is a screenshot, just in case I wasn't able to play videos. I took these, the closet in the master bedroom, again, November 2021, with no doors. I was meal prepping or something. At some point, I took this picture of the oven. This was in March 2022, so very shortly after I moved in. This shows a close damage or picture of the damage that was on the stove from when I lived there.
Fire.
Mr. Kuhn, Mr. Kuhn.
Yes,
This is her time to talk, not yours. So you have to wait until you, and I can't hear you talking in the background.
I apologize, Your Honor. I didn't put it on mute. It's on mute.
All right, go ahead, Ms. Stevens.
This is when I walked out. This was my walkout video. I did take a video that, again, was very large. It was about 10 minutes long of me doing an entire walkthrough of the home. And this is where it ended. And you can see that damage there in the spot where the other damage was. Here is a full shot of the oven with the same mark there in March 2025. And here again, this says March 21. The year is not on there because it was this year. This is the same picture as my walkout with that same damage there when I was leaving the keys in the house. This one was with my coffee. It was from November 21. Here's another video from March 2022 with the same damage there. You can see that was already always there. I guess it was hard to get a still of that video. I found these videos, and so, but I'm just trying to show that this damage was always there when I moved in.
Any other
There's
pictures
another-
that you want to bring to my attention?
I think that's it. I think it started to repeat on itself now that I'm looking at it. It's kind of showing the same one, so I can stop.
All right. Any other testimony that you want to give in this case?
Just a couple of things I wanted to mention on that surprised me or that I was not aware of today, but I did hear Mr. Kuhn mention something about blue paint and cat prints downstairs. And I will testify that there was never a cat in that house while I lived there at any point, anytime, ever. So I have no idea what that was about, nor can I speak to that. I do not know who rented the home before me, but that was not me. I do just want to put that out there because that was a surprise. And I think that was everything.
All right, thank you very much. Mr. Serino, do you have any questions for Ms. Stevens?
Yes, Your Honor. She did show a picture of the damage to the back room, and she also showed it where it was opened. That's the work that that I did to replace we took out the drywall ceiling where it was leaking, and that was, as you can see in that picture, it was cleaned up.
No, I understand that, and I understand that there was a previous case about the ceiling damage and the roof,
Right.
that sort of thing. So I'm not considering anything that she showed me for that purpose. I think she was trying to show me the back door, which she thought was the storm door that Mr. Kuhn testified was missing and had to be replaced.
Oh, well, storm door and an interior door, two different things.
Right. You saw the interior door. That was a picture of the interior door. Mr. Kuhn is attesting that the storm door was missing.
All right. The question right now is, do you have any questions for Ms.
No.
Stevens? So
No,
if you have questions, you'll be given a chance to summarize in a minute, but are there any questions that you have for Ms. Stevens?
I do not, Your Honor.
Mr. Kuhn, do you have questions for Ms. Stevens?
Yes. When you noticed the county that the place was uninhabitable, and when I got up there in June, there was a red sticker on the front door that I couldn't rent the house, I couldn't do anything with it. Why was it uninhabitable if you were the only one in there for 2 years or more? Who made it inhabitable?
Mr. Kuhn, I believe that those questions go to the issue of the roof and the previous court case that we had about that. Today's hearing is only about the $875 and when she moved out. So I can't allow you to ask that question unless it pertains to today's case.
You understand?
All right, I got another question.
Go right ahead.
I think it was in April, my wife was in a memory care facility because she had Alzheimer's. It cost $6,000 a month. I decided to sell the house on Huron Street. I told Mr. Serino, let her know that it's my intention in June when I get up there, give her plenty of time to find another place. I thought that was a fair thing to do. And, but yet it took 11 days after all that notice, took 11 days for her to get out. We prorated the 11 days that she was in there that I couldn't have rented it if it was rentable. And I paid her for the difference, $667 on her deposit. We're not asking for the deposit back. We're asking for damages that were done. So that's my question. Why did it take so long? You had plenty of notice.
I don't understand. Why did it take so long for what?
I gave you notice through Tom that I would be selling the house in June when I got up there. And you had from April to June to find another place. And my question is, why did it take 11 days beyond that for you to leave when you had all that notice? I didn't notice you 2 weeks ahead of time. I noticed you 3 months ahead of time.
Okay, I can answer that.
I moved out in March. I was not there in April and I moved out. Yes, I knew that there was time, but then this is, again, Your Honor, this is referring to the ceiling issue. The ceiling started to cave in because of ice and water damage. So I wanted to get out of there as fast as I could. So I didn't want to wait there until June. So we already addressed all of this in court in August.
Yep. Any other questions that you have, Mr. Kuhn?
No, I got a comment. Can I make a comment?
In your closing arguments, you'll be able to make your comments. The
Okay,
time right now is for your questions.
I don't have any more questions.
All right, now I'm going to give each party an opportunity to have what's called a closing argument or closing comments. So I'll start with Mr. Serino. Mr. Serino, What are your comments?
Your Honor, Mr. Coon has been nothing but gracious. He was nice enough to give her a well advanced notice that he was intending to sell the place. And as far as the roof damage, she did not maintain that house to the point of getting the snow off the edge of the roof. There was ice dam created, and that's what caused the damage to the ceiling.
I'm not
That-
here,
that-
I'm not here, Mr.
I realize.
Serino, I'm not on the roof damage.
Right, but by the same token, I'm just saying that Mr. Coon was very gracious, trying to give her as much time as possible, and did not expect in return all this grief. And he did not expect any of the damage that he encountered when he moved back and came back home to deal with.
All right, thank you. Mr. Kuhn, your comments.
Comment is, I feel sorry for this lady. I hope your life changes because it's very difficult for me to deal with somebody that's dishonest. And you've been very, very dishonest about this whole thing. Taking pictures after you tear the doors off, make it look like it's from me. It wasn't. When you went in there, you know very well that everything was looking good. You took a picture of the stove after you damaged it. It was never damaged before that. The Lazy Susan was in perfect shape when you went in there. And you took a picture of it after you damaged it. So my comment is it bothers me that I'm trying to be honest with you and you haven't been honest at all.
All right, Ms. Stevens, your comments?
I'm hearing that I'm being accused of causing a significant, amount of damage to the stove and hose, and somehow removed multiple doors and basically did all of that within 10 or 11 days after signing a lease, and then took a video to hide that, which I find ridiculous. I was excited to move into the home because it was somewhere to live. I was happy to be there. And the things that I did notice were cosmetic, and not, something that I couldn't live with. I took good care of the home. I heard many times from Tom that I was a good tenant. I never spoke to Jim until I was trying to move out. So just to be accused of causing all of that damage and then taking a video within, 10 days is wild to me. But I do, I guess, want to just close saying that, again, I never heard anything about these damages from when I moved out in March all the way up until October. I was not texted or called or get a letter or anything. So this was all brand new to me, and starting with the court date and accusations. I wanted to, again, just say that a lot of these accusations are by Mr. Kuhn, who says in his note here that he did not inspect the home himself. And I feel badly because I don't think he knew what was going on inside the house, except for anything that Mr. Serino might have told him. And I have doubts that Mr. Serino was entirely honest about the state of the home when I moved in. Mr. Kuhn is in Florida and has no way of knowing this except for just trusting what Mr. Serino is saying. And I think that my pictures and the video show that I was honest about those things that I was lucky enough to have evidence of. I am an honest person. I've never been in any sort of trouble. I stand up for things and I admit when I am wrong. And any of these things, I would stand up and say that, yes, I broke that. I will pay for it gladly. I would have probably told on myself. But I never did because I was not responsible for that. So I just appreciate the court hearing that and taking the time to hear me today.
All right. Thank you all for your testimony. I appreciate the time and effort that went into it. Landlord-tenant matters are unfortunately often people taking sides, as is normal. They believe that their own perceptions, and it's not talking to one another and not necessarily following good protocol. There's a requirement under the landlord tenant laws that there be a pre-move-in review, and then there's a post-move-in review, just for the reasons that today occurred. Mr. Kuhn didn't see the state of the apartment or the house until probably 3 or 4 months after Ms. Stevens moved out. Mr. Kuhn didn't see the apartment when Ms. Stevens moved in, although it was relatively close because he did some work for it at that time. Mr. Serino, if he's going to be the management person for these houses, sir, you got to do a better job of doing these inspections ahead of time and afterwards. I get it that there was problems with this house with the roof, and that kind of set everything at odds. And she had to move out relatively quickly, but there's a reason for these procedures to be in place, and this is it. After the fact, it's difficult for anybody to know exactly what happened and when things got damaged and what was there and what wasn't there, because it's after the fact. And that's why we do things before and after, so we have something to compare it to. So going item by item through this process. The garbage disposal had to be replaced. I can't say that Ms. Stevens damaged the garbage disposal. Her testimony was that it wasn't working correctly when she got there. She unplugged it. That's what Mr. Kuhn found when he went to plug it back in. It wasn't working correctly, so that he had to replace it. That doesn't mean that she damaged it. I can't find that she did anything wrong. That's normal wear and tear on a house. Things have to be replaced over time. I can't find that she damaged it, so I'm not giving you $200 for the garbage disposal. Closet doors in the 2 bedrooms and the washer dryer room being placed into the basement. It's clear that they were there because Mr. Kuhn testified to them. And it's clear to me, based on the November 11th, 2021 pictures that the plaintiff put it, the defendant, Ms. Stevens, put into on evidence today, that those were out and off within 10 days of the house being rented. I doubt very seriously if Ms. Stevens, not to say that she couldn't, but I doubt if she did, in the process of moving into a place, is just going to take them off and take a video of them just in case you make a case that she took them off. She'd have just told you, hey, I took them off, they're in the basement, put them back on. Again, I don't see any intent to damage or do any wrong to them. It appears to me from the pictures that she has that within 10 days of moving in, that the doors were off at that time. Therefore, I'm not going to give you any damages for the closet doors. The 2 sheets of drywall and the small pail of compound tape and labor at $300. I don't have any testimony as to what that was used for, other than for the roof and the ceiling where the roof caved in at, and that was already the subject matter of a prior case, so I'm not going to give you any expenses for that either. Kitchen and bath, the towel bar was missing, and then there's a claim that there was a hole through the tub. The towel bar, Ms. Stevens testified, was taken off and put back into the closet, was not removed, so I'm not going to give you any money for that as well. The Lazy Susan being missing, again, that was Mr. Kuhn testified that that was in the basement. I don't find any damage to the picture that was shown in court, didn't show any damage to the cabinet itself. The fact that the Lazy Susan was removed, whether it was removed by Ms. Stevens or removed by somebody else, doesn't show me any damage to do anything with. So if the Lazy Susan was downstairs, there's no damage for that either. The cook stove with the porcelain damage, the picture that was indicated in the video and picture by Ms. Stevens shows the damage was to the top of the stove already. And when I look at the picture submitted by Mr. Sereno of the kitchen, it appears to me that there is in the middle of the top of the stove, just above where it would then go down towards the oven door, there appears to be a mark there, which is consistent with the damage that was in Ms. Stevens' pictures from from March of 2021. Therefore, I find that the stove was damaged prior to her being in the apartment, and I'm not going to give any damages for that. The garage door, overhead door not being operable, the floor required power washing from dirt, walls were dirty enough to require cleaning and painting. That's normal wear and tear. Paint every 2 or 3 years is typically required in units. Cleaning of the units, especially if a garage floor is always going to have dirt on it. I don't find that to be anything other than normal wear and tear. So I'm not going to grant you any damages for that. Ms. Stevens testified that the remote was missing. I don't have a paperwork documenting whether or not the remote was given at the time. That's the paperwork I was referring to with Mr. Sereno about submitting, having that ready to go. Because you can't prove that she was given a remote, I can't prove that she stole or damaged or took the remote. So I can't give you any damages for that either. Storm door missing on the back porch, replaced with a new door. I don't have any doubt that Mr. Kuhn replaced the storm door, but again, without a documentation that the storm door was there to begin with, how do I know when it was put on or when it was taken off? And how do I know that Ms. Stevens did that? There's no way to prove that at this point. So I can't give you any damages for that. The smoke detectors being missing at $60. It appears to me from the pictures that Ms. Stevens put in place that there was a wire hanging down from the ceiling at a place in the ceiling where a smoke detector would be typically in place. And that was from when she moved in. So it appears to me that the smoke detectors were not present when she moved in. Therefore, you're not entitled to any damages for her taking them because I don't believe that she did. Therefore, I find that there is no damages in this case, and I find that there's no reason to do cases dismissed because there's no damages. Thank you. That's all for today.
Thank you, Your Honor.